This 9-digit number is worth more than your student ID, your passport, and even your study permit. Without it, you can't work, you can't file taxes, you cannot build credit. You basically cannot exist financially in this country. Here's the crazy part. Most newcomers in Canada are either delaying getting it because maybe they don't know how to get it or where to get it from. Some even applied incorrectly, but we're fixing that today. Hey, welcome to my channel. If you're new here, I help international students navigate life in Canada without the expensive mistakes. Plus, I also share valuable insights on how to thrive in Canada as an international student. Let's dive into it. Today, we're talking about something very important. It's called the social insurance number. By the end of this video, you know exactly how to get your SIN, what documents are required from you, how to avoid the mistakes that delay your SIN application by weeks, and lastly, the hidden benefits of having your SIN that nobody talks about. Remember to hit the subscribe button and turn on your notifications. I share valuable insights on this channel, especially money saving tips for international students. First things first, what is the SIN? The SIN is your social insurance number, and it is issued by Service Canada. Think of your SIN as your financial identity in this country. It looks exactly like this, 9-digit numbers. Now, here is what most people don't know. We actually have two types of SIN, the permanent one and the temporary one. The permanent SIN starts with numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or 7. The ones that begin with these digit numbers are for permanent residents and citizens. It never expires. We also have the temporary SIN, which starts with 9. If you're an international student and you go and check your SIN, you will see that it starts with 9. The temporary SIN is for international students and temporary workers in Canada, and it has an expiry date that is tied to either your study permit or your work permit. Now, don't worry about it being temporary. It works exactly the same way the permanent SIN does. There's no difference in how it works. The only difference is that you have to extend it if you also extend your study permit or your work permit due to the expiry date. Okay, so why is this number so crucial? Let me break down what you cannot do without the SIN in Canada. First things first, you cannot work legally without your SIN. Not on campus, not off campus, not co-op, not internship, not anywhere. If an employer hires you without a SIN, they face massive penalties, and nobody wants to get into trouble with the government. In my previous video, I talked about how to file your taxes. Now, you cannot file your taxes without your SIN. No SIN, no filing of taxes, no GST credits, no tax refunds or other benefits. So that's potentially $3,000 to $15,000 you're leaving on the table every year without a SIN. Reason number 3 why you need a SIN: government benefits. Talk about the GST HST credits, the provincial benefits, the emergency assistance program, all required SIN. During COVID, students with SIN got emergency support payments from the government. No SIN, no support payments, no benefits. Reason number 4 is your banking and credit. Most Canadian banks would not open a bank account for you without a SIN, especially savings accounts with high interest rates. If you want to build credit, you need a SIN. If you want a credit card, you need a SIN. If you want a car or any form of loan eventually, you need a SIN. And finally, reason number 5 is your future immigration plans. When you apply for permanent residency, IRCC looks at your entire financial history in Canada. Talk about your employment records, your tax returns. Everything is tied to your SIN. Start building that record now before it's too late. Now, let's talk about who is eligible to get a SIN. Before you start running to Service Canada to apply, let's talk about your eligibility. You can get a SIN if you have a valid study permit and work authorization. When you look at your study permit, it should have at least one of these 3 conditions. May accept employment on or off campus. May work 24 hours per week off campus, may work on campus. So your study permit should have at least one of these three conditions on it. But hold on, there is an exception. There's something called the tax-only SIN. So even if you cannot work, this number will be for your tax filing purposes only. Different process, different use case. For the sake of this video, we'll talk about the standard SIN for students who can work. So when can you apply? Timing is everything. So here's exactly when you should apply. The ideal time to apply for your SIN is as soon as you arrive in Canada. From day 1 to day 7 of your arrival in Canada, you settle down, sort out accommodation. In your week 2, make sure to apply for your SIN. Why week 2? Because by then you would have an address to use for your application. For every SIN application, an address is required. Then week 3, when school resumes, you can start looking for jobs. Remember, you cannot start working as a student until your program starts date. So even if you arrive Canada months or weeks before your program starts date, you are not supposed to work. Don't wait until you have a job offer before you apply for your SIN, because your potential employers would definitely ask you for your SIN. Do not wait until tax season before you apply. There will be a lot of rush and stress within that period. Lastly, do not wait until your study permit is about to expire before you apply for your SIN. All right, so let's talk about the documents you need to apply for your SIN at Service Canada. If you get these documents wrong, you just waste a trip to Service Canada for nothing. So pay attention. You need just 2 things to apply for your SIN: the original copy of your international passport. Secondly, you need your work authorization document. So make sure to go with your study permit, the one that was stamped in your passport, plus your port of entry letter. Additional documents that you can go with are your proof of address, and for a backup, your acceptance letter from your school. So how do you apply for a SIN in Canada? There are 2 ways you can apply: in person or by mail. You can check for the nearest Service Canada office near you by just going through Google search, and they'll show you the Service Canada office that is closest to you. I'll recommend that you go in person for your application. That way you get your SIN immediately. Unlike when you apply through mail, it takes a couple of days to get it. The most common way of getting that application done is to book an appointment first and then go during the time of your appointment. So if you walk into the Service Canada office, you'll be given a number from the kiosk when you walk into the office. From there, you have a seat and wait for your number to be called. And when your number is called, you approach the counter or the agent with your documents. The agent will then verify all your documents. So depending on the office, they will ask you to fill a form. It could either be a paper form or a digital form. Make sure to enter your name exactly the way it is on your international passport on that form, your date of birth, and every other information required of you. Very critical to note, make sure that every letter of your name appear on that form the same way it is on your international passport. If any mismatch happens at that point, it's going to create a lot of problem for you in the future. Once you submit that form, you get your approval almost immediately and you get your SIN. So the agent will print a SIN confirmation letter for you where you have your SIN written. Make sure to keep that document very safe and far from where every eye can see it. The confirmation letter will have your 9-digit SIN plus your name plus the issue date and the expiry date as well. Make sure that you take a photo of that paper immediately in case it gets missing. So what if there's no Service Canada office near you or you cannot go in person? Another option for you is to apply by mail. Here's how the mail application process works. You have to go to canada.ca/SIN and download the application form. The form you should download is the NAS 2120 form. Make sure to fill that form completely in black ink only. Next step is to gather certified copies of your documents. Now, because you cannot mail the original copies of your documents to Service Canada, you have to make copies and certify these copies as authentic. You either go to a lawyer or a notary public or your university's registrar's office. The copies of your documents will be signed and certified authentic. Those copies are what you would mail to Service Canada. Mail everything to this address: please confirm from their website if this address has changed. When you've mailed your documents and they've received it, they will send you an email using the email address that you have provided in your application. It will take approximately 10 to 20 business days for processing. After processing, they'll send your SIN to your address. Unless you absolutely cannot go in person, it's advisable to just do the in-person application because you get your SIN right on the spot. Now, here are some common mistakes that people make concerning their SIN application. Number one is applying too early. Some students try to get their SIN before arriving Canada. You cannot get your SIN from outside of Canada. You have to be in Canada before applying for a SIN. Mistake number two is showing the wrong documents, from expired passports to screenshots, photocopies, also scanned copies. These are wrong documents to present to Service Canada for your SIN. Mistake number three is the name mismatch. For example, your international passport says your name is Mohammed, M-O-H, and then when you're filling the form in the Service Canada office, you spell Mohammed as M-U-H. When you mismatch your name like that, you create problem for yourself in the future. Make sure to use the exact spellings, accents, middle names exactly the way it appears in your international passport. Mistake number four is not having a proof of address. Most students arrive in Canada weeks before the school resumes. Most times when students arrive in Canada, they use temporary accommodations like hotels and Airbnbs. The solution to this is to either get a letter from your host or wait until you have rented your own place before applying for a SIN. Alternatively, if you have applied for a school residence, you can get a letter from your university confirming that you have a school residence address. Mistake number five is forgetting your port of entry letter. Make sure you go with your port of entry letter to Service Canada office for your SIN. If you have lost yours, make sure to reapply through IRCC for another copy. Mistake number six that people make, and this is a very huge mistake, is not renewing your SIN when you extend your study permit or work permit. Your SIN expiry date is usually tied to your study permit. Make sure that when you extend your study permit or your work permit, you go to Service Canada office immediately to update your SIN. Your SIN number will remain the same. They will only adjust the expiry date of your SIN. Your SIN is a sensitive information. Make sure you protect it the way you protect your passports. And now that takes us to the next section of this video. Who should get your SIN? Your employers, CRA, your banks or other financial institutions, government agencies can get your SIN. Lastly, your university can get your SIN. Who should not get your SIN? These people have no business asking or collecting your SIN. Number one, your landlords. Random websites. Of course, do not post it on social media or share it with anyone. Random phone callers requesting for your SIN. Do not give your SIN to your friends. It is sensitive and very confidential to you and you alone. Note that CRA will never call you on phone requesting for your SIN. Do not fall for that trap. Most of these phone calls are scam calls. So do not fall for them and do not release your sensitive information over the phone. Now, let's talk about renewing your SIN. When you want to extend your study permit or your work permit, renewing your SIN is something that you should do immediately you have an extension of your study permit or work permit. The same exact process that you followed when you applied for your SIN for the first time is the same process that you follow when you are renewing your SIN. The only difference here is that you're going with your new study permit with the extended dates. Also, note that your SIN application is completely free. Do not pay anybody for a SIN application. One common question that people ask is, can I work while waiting to get my SIN? The answer to that question is a big no. You cannot work legally while waiting for your SIN. Talking about work, when it comes to volunteering, you also do not need your SIN for volunteering. Your SIN is only required for paid employments. Your SIN is also only applicable to Canada. You cannot use it in the US or any other country outside of Canada. Before we wrap up, let me give you some final warnings to note regarding your SIN. Do not pay anyone to get your SIN. Don't share your SIN on social media or with friends. Don't share your SIN on unsecured websites. Do not laminate your SIN confirmation letter. It might make it difficult to photocopy in the future. Don't forget to update your SIN when you renew your study permit or work permit. Do not give your SIN to your landlord or over the phone to anybody. Don't apply for your SIN while you are still outside of Canada. Last but not the least, don't procrastinate getting your SIN. Watch this video this far. Please share the video, subscribe to my channel, like and leave your comments in the comment section. I also have resources in the description box that would help you navigate how to register your SIN, plus the relevant websites to visit regarding that. I share valuable insights to international students on my channel, and I have other videos regarding how to manage your credit in Canada, as well as how to choose your Canadian university, plus how to file your taxes. I'm going to attach the links to these videos and also include them in the description box. Thank you so much for watching, and until my next video.